morning, Maui. It's Scott Bushnell hosting with Jason Schwartz today. We have a lot to talk about. A lot of things have been going on. So we're here today in the studios of Maui. We are coming up on a very sad anniversary this Thursday with Lahaina Fire, and that's one of the greatest tragedies we've had on the island in known history of our generations. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that. We are going to talk a little about, the recession that we have been triggered into.
Put both buttons on. Channel 1, Channel 2. There you are.
Right, we're there.
Now you have the guest. Hi, I'm Jason.
Jason's here.
I just wanted. I have surgery tomorrow, Wednesday. It's like In-N-Out Burger, 6 to 3, maybe.
6 to 3.
And come out with a new hip and then recoup. Thank you for being here, Scott.
What other parts are they putting in? Did you order anything more with that model?
No, I wanted fries, and I asked about wireless or a rechargeable battery. They
that
told
would be
me
good.
They don't do rechargeable because they keep getting better and better, and this may be the one that will be there longer than I am.
Oh, cool. I mean, we all watched The $6 Million Man growing up. We know that, that's got to be possible.
Well, I've heard so many people doing it. I heard people say, it took me 6 months, 7 months. I had people tell me, I was up in a couple of days and I was walking and I'm fine now and I've done both hips and as soon as they can give you one, take it. And I've had those kind of comments.
Yeah, I have a friend that works over at the Mattress Sleep Number. He got both his knees replaced, and he was back running and hiking within just a few days. I mean, he was just after it.
Oh yeah, well, I'm not ready to take on mountains yet, but I know we're going back to the gym.
We're getting in the water.
Yeah, and I want to be back on stage doing music. I have ideas of different things and using studios here and out in this beautiful Maui landscape.
Well, you're very talented that way.
Well, thank you. But there's also lots of other talent here.
Yeah.
When I see other talents, I say, there's Eric, and there's Harry. Oh, look at that. And they have a story, and I say, well, what's the difference between what we've been doing here for all these years and that? A story. A story. It was a Civil Beat guy picked that. It's like, what happens when we have John Cruise's wife and we're doing things for environment and we're doing music? It's a matter of choice in media, which is you're going to have these weeks. I am very, very proud and happy for you in the way you've taken to this medium. You had past experience, but your subjects are having Janelle?
Little tiny update. Janelle's going to call in probably next week, but the legislation, because our video that we made from this went viral.
Isn't that great?
And went all over the country, and representatives were called, everything happened. It moved through appropriations much quickly than expected.
And maybe 40,000 people viewed?
Close to 40,000 if you count everyone that it was shared to.
And it's still up there, MauiNeutralZone.com, plus finding you at Coach online. Scott Maui YouTube, right?
It's there. It's also on the national website for wildland firefighters. It's good. Everywhere.
Excellent.
Yeah, it blew up. And then since our support...
Good subjects supported by the people that are on the shows to share them. See, that's the best piece.
Yeah.
This was a subject that she wanted to deliver. You helped pull it out from her really well.
Right.
Thank you for that.
She knocks it out of the park.
And you did a great job of pulling it. And, I know because I've walked in the water with you. Scott's Aloha Swim Lessons.com. Scott is helping me through this period, with this thing with my leg. But you have lots of opinions, and we
got lots.
There are subjects that you've got on fire and on tap. Mm-hmm. Who is your guest? You got guests?
I have Jeremiah Martin, who's Wildland Restorations, part of the team that travels the West Coast and basically anywhere, and they help repair riparian areas, places that have been damaged by either construction, logging. He's on a project right now that called him away from this today, which is outside of Los Alamos, New Mexico, where back in the 40s during the Manhattan Project, they dropped like 800,000 tons of plutonium waste.
Ouch.
Ouch.
I was going to say, is it contained?
No,
The question is that why they have the highest ridges and those unique formations? Maybe
well,
so.
What really came to mind when Jeremiah called me, because he was bidding this project, and we talked a long time, and he said, Scott, you were downstream and downwind of that where you lived, and you had cancer at a very young age. And 2 of your neighbors had cancer, odd cancers at a very young age. 2 of my co-workers that were younger than me had cancer at a very young age. So we've got a window of going, wait a minute, no one told anybody, and the people that did this now have long passed away. This was a past generation. And Los Alamos National Labs, doing their due diligence, has gone after that. They have not hidden anything. When they uncovered it, they came out and said, we've got situations here. We don't think it's harming the public, and they're bringing it forward. So there's a lot to unpack there at a future time when we get actual factual information.
Well, you know what I like when you said actual factual? We are preceded by David Packman, who is a Pacifica feed. I don't know how the station's relationship is. But if we have subjects that are national subjects, we will qualify to apply to be able to be syndicated. So when you find subjects like that, not only for you to be doing them, but you and me, and you, just like you brought the notions about the toxic dumping of waste.
Absolutely.
And you brought it to my attention, and
we were
couldn't
shocked.
put it down.
We were all shocked.
And the fact that that's how, but then like I see the coverage. I did 8 or 9 shows. I had John Cruz's wife on here. We had the Hawaiians on here. I had all the things they did through their own public forums, and no contact back from anyone.
Right. And
so it's the coverage in the media,
and
someone that knows how to market this media. Like you said, you got it to an audience through Janelle, who has an interest in getting something going on.
Right.
So this is the power of what you do, and the reach that you're taking is something I'm very, very happy, and you're a great addition. I feel like I'm a great addition to your team.
I think we work so comfortably back and forth here. It just happens.
Well, it happens, but notice I didn't use the Donald Trump thing at all yet today, because that's aside from anything and everything else that I can move forward in a positive way.
I'm not going to discuss that. I have a list of things I want to talk about.
Right.
A lot of those aren't about facts. Those are about understanding how to do research, understanding how cognitive behavioral change has influenced how the media delivers things. If you have 10 friends that tell you the same story, generally you believe it because you heard it from 10 different friends. If you're getting that information and those people get the information somewhere that they found it, who's controlling that information or those sound bites? You don't want to question your friends, but you have to realize there's a bit of cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is when you believe something so deeply in your heart that even though the facts are laid out there, you go, wow, maybe I was wrong. And at that moment, when you can say, maybe I was wrong about something, that's the moment you can introduce yourself to questioning your own reality. If I eat this food, and this food, and I believe that I did the research and I thought it was right, and I found out something different, you have to have that ability to be vulnerable and go, I really got this wrong. And it's the same with your diet. It's the same with understanding our political system. It's the same with going to the grocery store.
Well, that's a subject, like you say, for a different day.
Yeah.
But the heat of the political moment, I'm not there, and we both know it exists. I'm parking it. I'm in a healing mode.
Yeah. You know what? I can't. The person that I absolutely adore in this whole political spectrum is our past representative, Tulsi Gabbard. I just, listening to her, just cut the crap. I love her. She's out there.
Do you like Marianne Williamson?
She has her moments, but Tulsi is just straight up.
I'd like to meet Tulsi, or maybe we'll meet her on air.
I think we will
see.
meet her on here. She blew up the other day. So her schedule just got, after her debate results with by running for president against Kamala Harris, that blew up, and her stuff is all over. She is like top rated across all social media right now for her art, her combative, or her debate with Kamala Harris was brilliant. I mean, well placed, straight.
Was it recently?
No, it was 2016, 2015.
I'd love to get a link to that.
Oh, you can't miss it. It's everywhere.
You'll get it to me.
Yeah, I'll get that to you.
Good. You know, I love being on this side of the seat as a guest.
You get a better picture of yourself.
Well, you know,
I can see that. Look, I can see your face. I'm seeing the side of my head all the time.
Well, you got to realize where your camera. There's my camera, and there's your camera.
Yeah, I wish my camera was kind of there.
Well, you can move your mic a little bit more.
But then I want to look at you. We like talking.
Oh, yeah, we do. And I learned long ago that I would talk to the camera. I've been talking and doing these shows for 30 years, and when I am my own camera person, that is the camera, and I've learned to do you could do a medium shot. We can do a shot of both of us.
Right.
You can take a piece of that shot and make it a solo shot.
Yep.
All with the same thing. So all the techno stuff of the world has moved where I used to do it on simple. Now it gets so complicated. So I've decided and now keep it simple. But you know what? The amount of stuff we have that I've seen from you and you've seen from me over these years in Maui and the people, we have just an extreme. If we link these things together, we have so much to share with the world about a philosophy that's beautiful here, you know. Like we have the freedom to unplug from thinking about national things.
Oh, yeah.
We have an hour and we can talk about anything, and
we can talk about the stuff that makes a difference to each one of us.
Right, and your subjects are good, and I'm back on my same track. I still think that all the ingredients are here.
Yep.
And this is the time for Mama to, I want to say, integrate all these different shows and people, Eric and Harry Donenfeld and Brad Starks and the guy that used to be here at this station doing Moku Moku show and getting it to airlines and involving the hotels and supporting the people and creating a spotlight on environmental problems, but also solutions, tapping into the national, tapping into the national and showing them what we're doing on our beautiful island, that we live in this integrated paradise.
We do.
That's been my vision. To see my flyer from 1994 and what I said then, and to realize I'm still walking that same path.
That's a good thing.
That means this is all. When I talk about wanting to get Willie Nelson and Chris Christopherson and Alice Cooper, those are the words I was writing 30 years ago.
30 years ago.
And it's so funny because now it's like the right thing at the right time, bringing you aboard. You are such a dynamic. I just want you to know, the guy you've got sitting in here, we're going to have you asked for a day for having your own show yet?
Oh, gosh, no, Jason.
You want your own show?
Well, someday, sure.
But I mean, I'm going to come back in September.
Yeah.
Kelly King asked me she wanted to do an interview. If you can have, and you want to bring Tulsi or somebody.
We could do whatever. I'm open.
In any race that you bring someone on, they have equal time on station. So if is Tulsi running?
No.
Okay, there you go. And who's Kelly King? So when I do that, if Tom Cook wants to do an hour,
Right.
but I mean, very happy to know, and you showed me by what you did. When you hit the right subject with the right guest, you get views.
You get views because you connect to either a national organization that has people at the
and you
same...
need media coverage.
Yeah.
Just like I'm talking, but there's been no media coverage, and we've been doing this for years.
Right.
So what is that? It's the
Yeah.
media as new media style.
Well, we've got the internet now.
But you found a way through by people sharing with people, sharing with people.
But that was a small window. If people want to research things, and that's what we found out we did not know. We got a new tool in the last 20 years. We all have it on our phones now, but we don't know how to use this tool properly because there are organizations that control Google, control all the search engines. So you really have to wade through that and understand if you get the same sentence on 5 different places about one topic you're looking for, that's like a red flag. Everybody's sharing the exact same verbiage. Wait a minute, something's not right here. Or when you, this was really weird, and it was actually true. I saw it.
Isn't that what AI is doing? It's creating this stuff that comes out all in the same way, and they keep feeding to make it more of the same. Don't have any more signatures for people.
Right.
We're in a very strange world. AI is dangerously replacing the brain.
It's another scary tool. I use it constantly. I love it.
Oh, I haven't used it at all.
The only thing I use it for is like I write a maybe 4 or 5 paragraphs about a subject I'm teaching at the jail, or a subject that I'm teaching over for parents and children, and then I have it scrub it a little bit to clean it up to make sure my thoughts are.
But
getting
the
out
input
correctly.
was from you.
Yeah, I put it all in.
Where I see people using it as a tool to replace them thinking about it. You know, I'd like to plan doing 6 shows over the next year in all the hotels in Maui. And I'd like the revenue stream to have 80% going to environmental projects. And this will cost this much and this much. How much time does it take and what kind of shows? And that will spit out a business plan.
Right.
And I say that then the question is, what do we do? These plans are ahead of people that know when is the input to the advantage or disadvantage of people.
Right.
And I don't know if that is as important to people as it should be.
Historically, let's look at the arts. Music, painting, sculpture, all of that. All of the world's throughout history, great sculpture, art, painting, poetry, everything have been a residual of a very profitable economy, a solid economy. The Roman Empire, when it was its peak, was making beautiful things. The Egyptians were making beautiful things. All of the great art and beauty has come out of a very prosperous and solid economy. Something I did not know until last night, and I double-checked this. Do you realize in the Olympics from up until 1936, I believe it was, that in the Olympics you could get a gold medal for poetry, art, music, and, I forget the other one. But all of those were gold medal subjects. So the whole Olympic thing wasn't just about physical, it was about the arts. And I read that and I researched it and I went, this was true. Wow. Why did
That's a wow.
Yeah, and they had a 26-member Olympic committee that was one was for like painting, one was for sculpture, one was for poetry. It was like, how did I not know this? That's really cool. That brings in everyone, not just our super athletes. It brings in people with artistic ability.
The Pulitzer Prize and all those, that kind of stuff. And how do you do it with point system? It'd be an amazing new thing to.
Well, it feeds right into your topic of young, upcoming artists that have talent. And that was addressed in the Olympics up until the 1930s.
But imagine if there's a pool that's capturing all these images and including them into the possibilities.
Yes.
And now, as possibilities are being generated through an AI system, it feeds from a system that feeds on itself. You really, I don't know, it's scary to me, Scott. What's scary isn't that it happens. I think it's fantastic that it happens.
Yeah.
But I think that the void it can leave in people's experience that they may not pick up in any other way except chewing on the food.
Yeah. But
instead of pablum and getting something that's already been regurgitated.
But if you start thinking about what was Greece and what was Rome like at the time the Olympics started, they had such a focus on art, architecture.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine that they would
Yeah,
cut out
all
that.
the great philosophers.
And turn it only into a sports thing when it was, wow.
Right.
Well,
And
that's
so,
huge.
So if you really think about Rome and the beginning and the Parthenon and the Olympics and the Greek arts, wow. We just addressed the sports, which is really cool. It's wonderful that we can come together for sports. But that piece of the Olympics is what you've been talking about for as long as I've known you, to bringing the arts together. Could you imagine that at the Olympics? To see young poets, young artists, and this outside of the mainstream from all countries bringing their poetry or bringing their art. I know little about this. I am not... Wow, it's way over my head. But it's just the concept of it for people that's important.
How about this guy? He's a tennis player, Djokovic.
Yeah.
Who won the gold medal in tennis, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And he is world-renowned, top champion of everything. And this gold medal meant more to him, he expressed.
Yeah.
There you are. There's a great example, living it in color.
Yeah, living
a guy who realized
a Renaissance man.
How really that was where he felt like he against everybody in the world,
right?
In a nice way. That's a beautiful thing that really would really bring. Hopefully, that's why the word "mama." How many worlds do they have "mama" in, huh? And "mama" and "papa."
Yep.
I've been dreaming this thing, but I haven't been just dreaming it. I've been. Yeah. When I think of what we have here, Scott, what we have is something that time has come. The things that you're talking about and being able to be able to affect an outcome through this. Maybe people don't.
Maybe, Jason, you've been thinking too small. Maybe we need to affect the World Olympics. Maybe we need to look
Maybe
bigger.
That is the way to do it, to involve the Olympics.
The entire world.
We could, but I'll tell you, Maui's not a bad place to be shooting.
It's a good place to shoot from. Yeah.
So let's start here, right?
If we can do if we can do a video and a talk show that we did with Janelle Valentine a few weeks ago, and it goes all over the country, and I get a call from the head of Texas Wildland Firefighters praising it, I'm like, hey, we're going somewhere. We have a platform.
Yes, we do.
And that whole Olympic piece that I never knew that there were the arts in the Olympics. But when you think back and you think about ancient Greece and you think about ancient Rome, how could it not be?
And the all-around man and all-around woman.
Yeah.
All around with arts and music and
everything.
Poetry.
The entire human being.
That's something?
Yeah. Up until the 30s, right? It was crazy.
Have anything to do with Adolf Hitler? Maybe.
They changed. He ordered things changed. I think that was the end of it, actually.
That'd be an interesting
the German Olympics. I would need to research that more. He had a big effect. He changed the distance of the marathon so it would end in front of him. Instead of 23 miles, it's 23.2 miles, so it would end in front of where he was sitting in the stadium.
Much.
Yeah, it's a bit much. He was a popular man at his time. didn't end up that way, but it started that way. So, Jason, you and I, we have been talking about the homeless on the island since we started talking. And I came across some facts the other day. Some of these facts are from Civil Beat and some from the state of Hawaii. Right now, in Hawaii, as of 2018, they are listing us with about 6,500 homeless people, and I know that has increased in the last few years.
You're talking about all of Hawaii.
All of Hawaii.
Islands.
All of Hawaii.
I wouldn't be surprised, though, if we're at 1,500 or 2,000.
At least.
Easy.
But the shocking number to me is, and I thought about this, because when I read that number, I saw that there were almost zero, if not a complete zero, of undocumented immigrants on our homeless rosters. So that means for the entire state, we have, according to the Maui Civil Beat, 41,000 undocumented immigrants on the island, all of our islands, and they are living somewhere. They are paying rent somewhere. They own somewhere. So we have 41,000 people illegally living here.
How many of the homeless? 6,500 versus 41,000?
Yeah.
Holy macaroni, that's cutting into your people taking units.
Yeah. What does that demand do for our rents?
It's, boy, the rents go up.
Yeah. The open borders thing, all of a sudden I was like, I started looking at it closer.
40,000.
41,000 as of, this is January of 2024, according to Civil.
Does it break it into islands? No.
It does. I don't have that in front of me.
Oh, but let's just
obviously
assume.
It breaks about the same as our population base. So obviously Oahu's bigger. They have more.
Well, it'd be interesting to check out the numbers as they relate to what's gone on here. Because here on Maui, we throw another 3,000. I don't know how many that FEMA did.
Right.
And they guaranteed higher numbers and escalated rents and scrambled an already existing market.
Exactly.
And then it had people asking about short-term rental change and zoning and what can be allowed, and the real estate people, the idea of a condo-tel, a condominium hotel, and how the lending laws are changed, and all that stuff goes in one big pot, and how the local people don't get as much business from the people that were now from wherever living in their community.
Exactly.
So here we are, got this giant mess.
And now we have
it's all solvable.
41,000 people that are maybe or not paying taxes. They're taking local jobs.
Well, how do you how do you undo that?
I don't know, Jason.
You don't.
Unless you do. You need to elect people with an agenda that says, let's get those people either fast-tracked to citizenship or get them out of the country. There's only two ways.
Now I'm seeing that, and I'll deal with that in a minute. Fast-track to citizenship or get them out of a country is a second subject. From those number of people, if they weren't there, and we reintroduce people now have to figure out, the prices have gone so up because of what FEMA has done and is currently doing, that the local people are out of touch with what the rents are, with or without that side subject that we're going to deal with in a second. And I just don't want to lose sight of that, because that's the housing piece.
Yes.
I've heard they always say, we can't build our way out. Yes, we can build our way out of. Yes, we can, especially with alternative things that can be done. I'm very tired of not hearing that talked about more and more, open forums and the way elections go. But let's get back to what you said, because we're talking about immigration here. He changed the immigration from housing. So housing is a good subject. If that's still around when I come back, or we can talk.
Right, we can get into this deeply.
But let's go what you just said, because that gets down to people say, okay, what's the difference between Trump believes and what Harris believes, and the different regimes, and so forgetting all that, because whoever that be, the right thing will happen where you got to deal with something. Here we have a housing crisis that surely was spurred on by FEMA, but also spurred on by a huge inflow of undocumented people. Some of them may be homeless from other states. They may be all kinds of things in there. But however we look at that, in that search, like you said, people have to either then get documented appropriately,
right,
or removed from the mix. But it doesn't solve this housing problem. That's why I'm separate.
How I know how difficult it is to rent here. I went through that when Andrew and I left the family farm, and all the documentation and paperwork that went into that. How, without documentation, if you're not here legally, can you get through that? Do we need to make sure that the people that are renting to those folks are held accountable?
Well, let's stop there for a second.
Okay.
How can we do that? Some will be that they don't have the documents and people believe cash is better than check, and that's possible.
And there we go.
But there's also the fact that in those numbers that are reported, 41,000 undocumented, we realize, oh, well, there's people from Colorado, there's people from California, there's from Mexico. Oh, yeah, there's people from Salvador. Oh, yeah, look at that. Oh, and they're mixed in there. But we don't have media. That's where you say research.
Right.
We don't have media that takes some sand in the sifter and they get things of this size and they see they're a little different, but to go and sift them more takes a little too much work. So the story reads that.
Yeah.
Instead of breaking it down to what it is really.
You know,
and getting, that's how you untangle cords in an electric studio, right? You really have to go untangle it all. I know that sounds weird to say.
No,
but
it doesn't.
It
Jason
supports what you said about research. It also supports this anti-AI thing of we don't get biodiversity when we diminish the microbiome. We don't get, I'm bringing all these subjects together. The world, when you put it all together, we have everything. And we could be having everything right here. We could be leading the world, have musicians from all over the world and artists from all over the world coming into our spotlight and being shared throughout the world and creating solutions before.
Our government, Jason, still getting back to that diversity.
Yeah.
Our country is based on individuals. And when we bring together individuals with great passion, I don't have the passion to chase after the wildfire situation. But there are people that do, and we want to hear from them. There are people that are passionate about changing how the EPA works. There are people that are passionate about deconstructing the national education system. They're passionate. This is the key to democracy. Every one of those people and that belong to every one of those organizations is a cog in how our country works. But it is getting stepped on because when they're trying to share their message, just as you've been trying to share your message, have been panted down by the high dollar input of media that gets money for making a show that is spectacular, that just makes the people and their missions disappear. And you've been fighting against that now for 30 years?
Yeah, more.
It's crazy. But when you get a group of people who are passionate about this or passionate about homeless, and people being homeless is so tragic. But when you unpack that and go, well, we brought 20 million people into the country, some people are saying, and they're not on the homeless rolls, so wait. 20 million people now are renting, and we've got our veterans on the streets.
Wasn't there a group that still may be around called ICE?
Yeah.
And the whole thing about getting illegal immigrants. I remember they were going after Mexican immigrants that were working in Lahaina and taking up jobs. And that was like a sting operation going on. Well, here it's the same kind of probably identical kind
Yes.
of a thing. On an island, I would think it would be even more difficult to not stand out when everything is measured with work and number of people and number of beds and all the rest of that stuff. So who knows? I would think we could get to those numbers more clearly.
And on the Social Security
Should we ask
website,
Civil Beat?
Go to the Social Security website.
I see.
And you can look up each state and how many people have had fraudulent claims against their Social Security number, which it's been used to verify unemployment. There are states that get some rounds of 20 to 30,000 a day. It's amazing. I am sorry that website's not in front of me right now, but I went and I dug through that. Hawaii only has about 15 to 20 people that have questionable Social Security numbers that are rolling through our employment.
So what does that say about our numbers, and how can we see, how do those, are those the criminals and mischievous ones
we don't know that
come from wherever? Isn't that interesting? They couldn't have gotten here by boat unless they had to be documented coming in. It's all we are so screened here. It's like, okay, we should be able to see who and what and wherever has been here. I look on my history, I can look back a year and see if I went to a website, this one first or that one first. So
the interesting thing is,
what do we do with that?
Well, we have many states that don't require much of anything to get a driver's license or an ID card. And then all of a sudden you've got a driver's license, you can get on an airplane. You've got a state ID, you can get on an airplane. So I don't believe this is something that needs to be addressed nationally. I think our local, county by county, state by state, we just need to address who's here. If people are here and working hard and want to come to America, God bless you, that's what this country is about. But we have rules and we have laws.
How do we implement that, what you just said? Hi, we're doing a check. Every time we check you, we'll give you a stamp on the forehead.
Oh, yeah.
How are we going to do that?
Jason, that's the question. The rules and the laws are there. We just haven't been enforcing them. We seem to the problem. And let's go back to Greece and Rome. Okay, back to Greece and Rome. We're back kind of on that Olympic theme here. So once government starts feeding, government feeds upon itself and gets bigger and bigger and bigger. If you study world governments throughout history for the last 2,500 years, every government in every country that started out brilliantly, say the Soviet Union, they were friggin' going gangbusters. They grew exponentially, and then it became a point where they were almost eating themselves to stay alive, and it collapsed. Greece and Rome, exactly the same.
Well, the same here. Why are we going to electronic machines to replace people? Because the only way to keep things going is to minimize the workforce to make things efficient. So we're already seeing all the signposts. Why do we walk into the brick wall?
You know what?
What's the deal?
I actually quantified this and checked it 6 different ways the other day. Do you realize that France made it illegal for mail-in ballots 35 years ago because there was no way they could make sure that people who were the right people were voting? France figured that out 35 years ago. I think the best thing we can do, Election Day is a national holiday, close everything. That's your day to go and vote. I don't, and this is the AI, this is electronics that I think has been jinxing us. We got lazy. If we can go in and personally vote, this is me, I'm Scott, I live here, my precinct's over at the grade school, and I go in and vote, which I always do. And I'm like, wait, that's not so hard. It's part of who we are.
I don't like standing in those lines.
Well, if it's a national day, we could make it.
Again, I'm just sharing.
Yeah.
I don't think that one is going to fly very well.
Well, until they.
What if there's rain, sleet, hail, and snow, and
Then
what if people are all wherever they are, and
Right.
they don't want to have to go back onto American soil to vote,
Right.
and all the things.
There's always been exceptions for
Well,
that.
if we're going
for
to
our
blow up
military.
America, wait till voting day. We'll get them then.
Yeah.
Anyway,
We've got.
but what you're basically talking about is how do we make things accountable? I don't know.
We have
and
to-
in
we have to
close
get the-
elections, I don't know.
Yeah.
But when it comes to things like women's rights, I do know.
Yeah. Women
Things
should be
there's some
women, not men.
women should be
and not fighting against each other.
well, and if someone's going to vote and they're proud that they took away a woman's right to choose with her own body.
That's not possible.
Well, again, I'm just saying to you right now,
Yeah.
when I think about the issues and where the passions are and what's happening with people here
That's
toward feeling like they're against each other.
Because they're playing us. We're being played.
Again, as much as all that's happening, we can choose cooperation. We're on Maui.
Right.
I'm pledging. That's what we're doing here.
Right.
There's another way.
There is. Wait, let's
Please
go.
know that. Go ahead. I'm the guest, but I'm
We're
appreciating.
having fun. So let's go back to that. Let's go back to that Supreme Court decision
Okay, yeah.
that you were just alluding to. The mass media sold that as Roe v. Wade. The actual decision, if you go and read it, was about states' rights versus federal rights. Federal cannot tell the states what to do internally. That was the question. But the mass media exploded it so that they could get a zillion reposts and everything else. But the bottom line, when you read that decision, you read all what the justice says, it was about states' rights. The states need to have the right to run themselves.
But now, again, I'm not denying it. But the pain that goes through
the media torturing people.
But also through the people that are in places where suddenly their freedom is dictated by someone.
It's their convenience might be dictated, but their freedom is not.
Well, and I'm just going back to the convenience piece.
Okay,
for a moment.
Convenience. Life is not convenient.
No, I'm fine, but I myself also have this thing inside, which is very strong. It's called forgiveness and mercy, and I feel that religious dogma.
Well,
And,
you're just
and
giving,
the
you're giving
way
the rhetoric that the media sold this.
No, I'm just telling you what I feel. That the fervor that people pronounce their version of the truth to impose it on someone else.
I don't know if they're imposing it or
And
they're
when they
selling
change it in the law, and here, if a woman is pregnant in this state and suddenly maybe tomorrow, if you get pregnant tomorrow, 9 months out, we'll try to impose that law. But when you leave people in the middle of a crisis and you make it
Jason,
less
show me
convenient.
where that has changed in any state.
Well, again, that's why I'm not fighting these subjects. But it's all then, whatever media spin.
Right.
I'm just saying the whole idea that we get divisive about that is making this whole social media thing. There's much more spark when things clash.
Oh yeah,
than
that
when
sells.
they
It sells.
cooperate. When I have so many people that have delivered so much wisdom and so much goodness over these years of media. And like you're doing, I'm so happy that you found a way to tap into a live thing now.
Right, it's fun.
And like if you have, you seem to think that Tulsi's going to be, I don't know what she's going to do next.
I don't know.
But I would like to see what she's about because I knew people that worked for her. I guess interpersonally, I don't even try to understand what goes on in an office and that stuff.
Uh,
But she had a great reputation going, and suddenly, because Democrat became Republican, and with Trump, and
yeah.
it's
Whatever sold soap. You know, you realize the Democratic Party and the Republican Party and they're not part of the government. Those are independent corporations.
no, I'm sure.
Yeah. So they are just there as a marketing machine for candidates. You realize that they are not beholden to the government. With our representatives, though, there are delegates elected that are supposed to do the will of the Republic of the states to put into office the most voted for candidate for president. Right now, we are in a state that we have not seen since Richard Nixon left office, and Gerald Ford, who had never received one vote for president, was put in as a president. He's the only president so far that has not ever received a vote in a primary for president until his second term. So here we are again. Joe Biden, I feel so sorry for him. I've watched my family members go through what he's going through with his health.
Right.
And now, how this country, who is so brilliant, cannot have a second primary for the Democrat Party, so they can duly vote for who they want for president.
I can only put in that the clock is ticking.
Yeah.
And that kind of a maneuver would take so much energy and effort.
Does it?
Yes, it does, especially when the rest of the media is picking the meat off the bones on every word they say.
Yeah.
They have a limited thing to do. So I don't doubt that they're going with what they got going on.
Right.
It would be tough to do a whole thing like you're talking.
Yeah,
but we only have a few minutes left, so the only reason that I only think about those things in passing is I don't feel that it's worth our energy on things that we can't.
We need to duly that is,
right now.
We duly elect
I don't
want
to have a thing and go talk at this place. I want to talk at this other place earlier, or I'm not talking. That kind of stupid bullshit stuff. I'm so tired. And the arguments for both sides, what a waste of all this media.
They sell
What
soap.
kind of good stuff can we talk about? Solutions. Want me to show you how to solve a housing problem on an island? I'll give you a time, but you got to listen. If you're not listening, I can put together all that. But, maybe you'll get the mayor.
Yeah.
Get the mayor on the show.
Yeah, we could probably do that.
But the reason I'm bringing it on, Mayor Bisson, I'd love to have you sit here with Scott. I'll be recuperating, but I would love to see you come on because I know that there are. I don't know. The time is right now. We're 1 year since this
we're 1
fire.
year. Yeah, we're going to see a lot of events happening on Thursday.
Drill, build.
Exactly.
These apartment complexes, even the way they're already going, we have the blueprint. We know the land.
Right.
We know how to be self-sustainable. We can do these projects, Scott.
But on the other side of what you were just talking about, Jason, for the last 6 years, you and I have been reeling against the federal government telling us what to do.
Isn't that horrible?
But here you go. Now you're on the side of the federal government on the other case where it gave it to states' rights. So I've taken on this comfortable coat of what the Hawaiians want. They would love to be in an independent country, the Native Hawaiians. They don't want anyone to tell them what to do.
But financially, we are a blend.
We are a blend,
and we can't get rid of that so easily, quickly.
No, but the folks I talk to on the streets and in the jails think that they want to take care of their INA. They don't want interference from outside.
I don't know how that will. We've been talking about that for 30 years.
Oh, yeah.
Where they're stockpiling guns and they have a whole arsenal of plans.
Yeah.
And they looking to kill a few tourists and stop the trade. I heard this in 1998.
Oh, yeah. I was
so
hearing
close
that
up
too.
and personal that I was like shocked.
I heard it in the 80s.
Well,
no,
so
it's not new. No.
But here we are. So I'm interested in love and peace.
You are.
And I'm going to find a way to elevate the Hawaiian culture, give them the love and respect and financial considerations that they're talking about. But that's where I'm coming
Yeah,
from.
but
And I'm going to go on
if the government's
vacation now.
giving something to you, they're taking something from you. You got to realize those two things. They don't give you anything without wanting something back.
Well,
Our Native Americans have been learning that
the hard way for generations and generations. Well, I'd love to be able to bring them on also.
We will. I have Marjorie Pitsui from the Navajo tribe.
Good.
Who is going to be talking with me here live from the Navajo Nation.
Excellent.
In the next few weeks. The pitfalls. There's one strange piece of trivia I learned being somewhat married into the Navajo Nation through my partner. I did not know that President Lincoln had a plan when he was being after the emancipation that they were going to move all the black people in the United States to reservations. That actually is congressional fact that the Democrats and the Republicans had gone, okay, we'll give them their rights, we'll give them this, we'll give them their freedom, and we're going to put them on reservations because that worked for the Indians. I had no idea.
Wow.
And until I researched that, I went, what? Yeah.
Wow.
History that didn't happen that was proposed. Wow. Could you imagine today if we had black reservations? Oh, my Lord.
It reminds me of Man in the High Castle on Amazon.
Oh, great. Yeah, that was so good.
Well, the same kind of a thing.
Oh, it is.
We have the neutral zone, and we have the Western civilization, the Eastern. Boy, all these fantasies that are reality are.
Oh, my. If anybody watches the Y-Files on YouTube, you've got to watch yesterday's episode. It talks about the collapse of financial institutions. And here I'm watching my ticker here that people have lost some 25-30% of their 401ks since this morning's opening.
I remember losing that. That was years ago.
1987.
Yes. What time is it? We probably
we
a minute to go.
have 9 minutes left.
Well, I know that we want to tell them all about MauiNeutralZone.com and YouTube, Coach Scott Maui.
AlohaSwimLessons.com.
AlohaSwimLessons.com.
Yeah.
MauiArtsAndMusic.org. You know, I'm going to start, I don't know what we're going to start, but it's time to do music and do some in the studio, some at different clubs. And
that's
bring
Jason,
some of the
that's
people
Jason's
on
piece.
here.
I have the music ability of a kid that was abused by nuns playing the piano. So
Well, we're going to
do
have
that.
other musical artists
absolutely.
on. Artists, and I mean, there are many visual artists. And there are video artists. And there are cultural artists and Hawaiian culture. See, all these pieces fit together in a bigger idea that is all-inclusive. And
Right.
we're going to be that example, right? We've been doing it for 30... I've been doing it for 30 years. It's a shock to me to see it in print because I really looked at the flyer and I thought, everything on this flyer, I totally am agreeing with.
I have flyers from my years running for state representative.
And many of them are still in play. So I'm going to be doing an update now from now.
Yeah.
Because they're in play.
I'll bring my flyers in my stance that I had on stuff that's still relevant today.
Well, you'll see all the shows all these years.
Oh.
You see all the pieces of the puzzle that I'm laying out
Right.
all this time. So I'm looking forward to being on a show when I come back. You are doing a great job. I'm too much of a talker.
Nah, Jason, you're not a talker.
Well, I also see we're running out of time. I want to give you back the handle.
Okay.
Thank you, Scott, for having me on.
It's
really
been
appreciate
fun,
it.
Jason, and our prayers are with you for a fast recovery.
Thank you.
We hope they work on the correct hip and don't give you a new knee.
Well, you'll be out there in the pool. Aloha Swim Lessons.
Make sure, Jason, you get a indelible marker and write on the correct hip. This hip, not this hip.
X mark to spell like a
don't cut this one. Cut this one. Write it on your hip.
It's the one when you step down on the gas. That's
There you
the
go.
one.
But yeah, it's an important. They actually do that. I went in and had a toe surgery after putting a Kiawe thorn all the way through my little toe.
Oh, made me now. Ooh,
Yeah, and doctor actually came in. Prep doctor came in and wrote this foot, or not this. They wrote something, and I go, "What are you?"
You have time. You know where the button is over there.
I do. It's we've got 2 minutes 29
See, isn't
seconds.
this great? See, like mine, I have on my phone. You've got the board over there. That's great with the jingle.
I see 2 minutes 20 up there. I see 11:54 here, so we're a little bit off.
Oh, that's good. Well,
Yeah.
you've done a great job. 88.5 FM, the voice of Maui,
Voice of
KAKU,
Maui.
simulcast on Akaku Maui Community Media Channel 55.
YouTube, Rumble, Truth Social. We are everywhere.
We are everywhere.
Yes.
Well,
So
I am so thankful that I am here with you. Thank you, God, for a beautiful and successful surgery. And I will be back walking again with you, Scott, here imminently.
yeah. And I'm gonna hit. Do I hit this play button when we get down to 1 minute, Jason? Is that
When you
where
get to like 13 seconds, you hit the jingle.
Okay. Well, I got about a minute.
Oh, that's good.
Hopefully, coming up, I have opened inroads to having the head of the EPA that's been on island, who's been overseeing things. The guy has been working 7 days a week for over a year, or coming up on a year. They've been really working hard. Looking forward to hopefully bringing him in here. I have open roads with Tulsi Gabbard. I have an ongoing communication with Bobby Kennedy. Bobby Kennedy actually posted a Maui video the other day. How concerned he was of the stalls and the pitfalls that we're falling into.
We're running out of time, but we're coming to you soon, I bet.
We got 51 seconds there.
51?
That's a lot. You said 13. I'm supposed to click that button? Okay, I'll click that.
13 is when you click the sound for the jingle.
Okay, yeah. So I'm at 39.
Isn't that fun?
Isn't this fun? Yeah. So
blessings to you. Blessings to everyone.
Blessings, Jason. And my number again, 808-372-7009. You can find me at Aloha Scott, hashtag Aloha Scott. I'm all social media forums. We'll talk about anything. If you've got something you're passionate about, you be sure to give me a ring. Aloha from Maui, Jason. Blessings.
Aloha.